sometimes I just say, I'm not going for it, I'm going to ride it out. So, hands swell out, so I'm riding it out. I know that's boss man, that's not normal. You know, that's not what's happening. Or a little feeling in your mouth or what have you. No, it ain't, this ain't no warning of a heart attack, nothing, or you know, you're going to get, whatever they call it when you get
Stroke.
stroke. It's 5 years ago, and it was right, because ain't nothing happened, and so I already was doing it then. I said, I ain't going to do it. At the same time, when Sakina wanted me to go to the doctor a couple of years ago to get all this, I said, no, I ain't checking out nothing, and the stuff went away, you know. Just like that's what the stuff does. Now, I imagine probably this stuff will go away, probably, but I'm not taking a chance. That's why, what we call it, is in the Marine Corps, adopt, digest, and overcome. So I've already adopted in the last week, less than that. I've adopted to how I would go if I'm flat blind. Where I live, what's my perimeters, you know what I mean, how I'll get around. So I'll just come out of that door and I'll go into that door. I won't take a chance of going up and down the street and stepping in the street and, you know, da-da-da-da. No, I'll just come out of that house. I know everything else is already in the house. All of the information, I'll get it from hearing it, like I did years ago, and not watching. You know, I can go back to listening to NPR and find out exactly what's happening, because I know how they lie. And now I seriously know how they lie. You know what I mean? That I could tell what's going on in the world by the lies that they're telling. And I'll be 92% accurate on what's going on by the lies they got. So I've already, at first I was a little, for the first hour or so, man, I said, you know this, but after that I said, no. This is boss man again. So we're gonna adopt, digest, and overcome. In other words, we've adapted to blindness without seeing nothing. Then the psychology is, technically, I've already seen most of the stuff in the world. So I don't have to see it physically, because when you see it in your mind, it's clearer than when you see it in your eyes. Or if you're up on a beautiful mountain, what you remember in your mind is more beautiful than what you're seeing. You know. But that's just the way the mind works. It had the picture that you hold in your mind. I don't have to figure out what a chair looked like. You know, if I was born blind, I already know. I'm 77 years old. I already know this, and I've seen it. You know what I mean? So I already have the pictures. And the middle picture would be clearer and better, right, than the real picture. The mountain stream would be more beautiful in my mind, right? Because when you remember things, you remember a friendship. It's better than the friendship really was, you know. When you remember a loved one or anything, your memory, the old days that you lived through, your memory says they was better than they were. Fun, there wasn't that much fun while you was doing it, right? But your memory of them is better than what the reality was. So boss man lost again. You know, and then when you're almost 1,000 years old, who cares about seeing? You know what I mean? You done saw all this stuff. Then you may not even want to see no more, Negroes especially. I don't want to see no more. You know, I ain't gonna see it. N-words. I don't even see them. Because when I see them, I associate their behavior. And you don't want to see them because you don't want to associate behavior, but you know how to get them off. Anyway, this thing, adapt, adjust, and overcome. A boss man done lost this stuff, and I keep telling him, he just won't listen. I know I'm talking to boss man. And I know the people that we have been around. One of the presidents, we were sitting there talking, and some of the things we didn't say because Marcia Hashimi was there translating. He had a translator too, but she was translating, you know. So I already know I got the police with me. So we were stuck on one thing. And so you know what he said? I ain't heard no politician say it. He says, don't worry, our heart are in tune. We was trying to figure out a word, something different. He said, no, our hearts are in tune. I said, this is deep. This is one thing. I heard our intellect will gel together, our aspirations, expectations will be fulfilled, all of that, but not our hearts, you know what I mean? So that was a spiritual element. The other thing was, when we left, he made a clear statement. He says, okay, what can we do for you? That's like, how much money do you need? How much would you like? It was almost like how much, you know, or from his translator, the question, well now, what can we do for you? Because usually when you go to see some, you know, there's money involved. And they might have even been figuring that if he wants to see you. Now, the ex-president has a whole compound and a whole staff, you know. That expediency council is that. You're not, when you're the ex-president, you're not like ex-president here. You ain't got nothing, you know, or 2, 3 people looking out for you. No, you have a whole staff, a whole compound. You might as well still be the president because you had a whole compound, a whole staff. So the question was, what could we do for you? So no, I just came by to visit. That was a shock to them. And it was a shock to the snitches, you know. What? Because the way this acts, it's like the sky is the limit, you know, type of thing. I didn't come by for that. So now that's like whatever happened in the future, when those people, and even like when I'm having before I go to operation over there at GW, I get a phone call, the guy speaking English, he says, somebody wants to, you know, And then there had been one before when I was in California. I bet you since then, they haven't turned off the monitor. You know what I mean? They never had, but I mean, since then.
Right.
If you're getting, and then there's a guy translating, the president wants to just wish you well in your you know, stuff. You know, okay. And everybody else, remember, they ain't got nobody as accurate. On either side, either on the boss man side or mixtures. They just don't have, you know, anyway. So I would suggest that they relax, take it easy. work with what we're talking about on mutual terms. I refuse to do it on their terms because they're not any good. And I know they're not any good, and I'm not gonna even start to do that. The proof of everything is that the idiocy that's going on, I don't have nothing to do with it. You wanna blow yourself up with your bad behind? Go ahead. I dare you. That's my attitude right now. You gonna get this scoop to be with that group? I dare you, go ahead. I know it's not fair because I'm about dead anyway and all the nice and young, but the earth may need a refresher. So you go ahead and do everybody in. Your plan has to be something. You're crazy. You know the stuff that's going on now? You're absolutely crazy. And therefore, if you're that bad and you're that crazy, get busy. Get busy. Just go on and do it. I dare you. You know, that's my feeling about this dumb stuff. And it's not mad or anger. It's over the visual thing. I believe in 2020 vision. 2020 vision looking forward, but super 2020 looking back. That's the possibilities. There's a blend in here. I refuse to collaborate on any of that dumb stuff they got laying out. Taking over a certain group and following in the line of, certain people that turned out to be. At least he brought everybody into Quran and Sunnah. You know, the stuff on the way, there was no guidebook for that, especially coming out of the crazy house, right?
Right.
Coming out of you come out of the crazy house, them teachings, and then you come and you want to get people to the Sunnah, and no guidebook for that. The man pulled off a miracle. Well, you didn't do that, you just pulled off a miracle. He came out of the crazy house. Read that. Student enrollment. Rich man, Asiatic black man, to make it on the cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization and God of the universe. That's what they come out of. You could get your behind set on fire just for mumbling or thinking about that. That stuff is not even sure. It's right. I mean, if Allah spanked your behind just for thinking dumb stuff, niggas would be, butts would be on fire all day long. The Asiatic black man, look what he is, the maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, father of civilization, and God of the universe. Allah is kind to niggas because he know they don't know what that means. Right? You see what I mean? That's why they not set on fire, right away. Probably, I'm just saying. So we're coming from a unique position, and I'm going to try to shorten it and just say what we look. I'm not making no deals, no bargains, or no nothing. Everything is out front. But whatever I say we're about, that's what we're going to be doing. And this dummy is in that position where that's what he needs now. He's not making rational decisions. He's not making rational decisions. And anybody around him ought to know that. And anybody can read history. That's what I told the FBI, not this time before last. I said, do y'all ever read history books? You ever read it? You don't know what goes past our desk. I said, I know some of it. There's a bunch of jive, half of it. A bunch of dumb stuff, And your behavior proves it. Okay, so they may have to go through a whole lot of worse stuff. They done lit the fire of inflation combined with job declines. This is sad.
Stagflation.
It is back after 50 years or 40 years, something. It's stagflation is back. Can you imagine? All of that stuff, and they're making more trouble instead of trying to solve the problem. And everything that they was trying to do, they're pushing the button, they're forming the unions, forming the structures, and scaring everybody away from themselves. Only the dummies, South Korea, maybe Japan, but they're going to get some sense pretty soon. They're frightening everybody, all the people in the islands, everywhere else, saying, boss man went crazy. So, technically, there's nothing that, there's absolutely nothing that can happen during this period that has any coherency. There's nothing coherent with boss man, right? He's incoherent. And we have enough history of our own and enough insight, foresight, whatever you want to call it, that we're not going to collaborate and have him interfere with the future the way we, because he could suggest, but he can't. You got to get yourself out of here, because you can't, you don't have none of the stuff to fix this. Nothing. You don't have, it's insane. But it's like the times of old, you know, getting close to the end of that period. Everybody could see all the stuff. He didn't make a move. That's the way it is now. It don't make no difference how many polar bears just sitting out there on a little block out on an ice cube, you know. All that. Hey, the signs, you know, when you start getting older, you start getting signs. Oh, okay, I felt something in the knee there, you know. Never felt that before. Let's try and see what, okay, that's a reality. And now what can I do about that? That's because it's a sign. All those things, the signs that come up and you don't do nothing about them, it's the way boss man is. And he has hooked up his new allegiance mechanism is worse than World War I. Actually, it's worse than World War II. Because World War II was, we have a treaty with Poland. If Hitler does something to Poland, then we got to get in. See what I mean? Something like that, right? So they said, we got, you know, so 39 is when they all roll in together. You know, okay. World War I, Triple Alliance, I think I mentioned this, Triple Entente. That means all those alliances. It's like those dominoes, when you push one, they all fall over. That's the way these alliances are. These dummies are doing the same thing. They got them in the World War I and World War II. But World War I for sure. Technically, it's not none of my business, but I feel like that for me, like they say, I ain't got no dog in the fight. I'm already lived a wonderful life. Nobody can take that away. So all I want to do is good for the next world. That's the way I look at it. But if you ain't got no more sense than the stuff you're doing, I hate to put it on other people, but damn, get bad. Push the button in. I'm not gonna sit up here scared because, you know, like when I was a kid, some big mushrooms everywhere, you know. Stealing the light, no, you so bad. Push it then. Don't sit around talking. Push it. That's my feeling now, you know, because he's dumb like that. And he's messing up everybody's life. The world, the life of people. Just to send all that money over there, the old raggedy stuff, to Ukraine is insanity. And all the people here watching like, yeah, but we have got inflation, we got this, that, and another, you ain't gonna, what about us? It's insanity. It's just stark raving mad. You know what I mean? It's like foaming at the mouth insanity. And maybe it's habitual, you know, like when you get hooked on drugs, or when you get, no matter what happened, you fall back on the dope. Well, they fall back on them old dumb things that's been, we get a war started, and but once you get it rolling, ain't nobody, the other team may not be playing by the same rules as you. Well, we just gonna have a little limited, you're having a limited atomic war. Good for you. Let's see how that goes.
Especially when they've been victims of past behaviors.
You know, like, if you think Russians lost 20-something, 27, 28 million people to Nazis, that they gonna you're gonna build a Nazi fortress in downtown Ukraine, and they ain't gonna do nothing. It's insanity. You know what I mean?
Right.
It ain't like 2 or 3 Nazis over here, you know, walking around and you put in jail. But it's like a real, when you see what they do going in and when you see what they do coming out, man. And them people, they call it the Great Patriotic War. Them